Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Collett, Chair of Shepherd's Table. It's been our joy to put a special night together for all of you as we gather around the table with our common goal to lift up our community and address homelessness and food insecurity. We are a community united. I'd like to thank our volunteers, those of you who have supported us for years, and those who have recently stepped in, particularly in this challenging time when we need one another most. To our donors, thanks for your gifts tonight and for sharing your time with us. And to our sponsors, thank you for such a successful partnership over the years. I'd like to particularly recognize presenting sponsor Geico, as well as Discovery, the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates, Folger Pratt, and M&T Bank. There are many more. Thanks to all of you. And tonight, we're going to have some special entertainment. You just heard Elliot Levine. That was fantastic. I couldn't help but want to be together with all of you dancing through that music. We're also going to learn how to cook something new from chefs Christina Moore, Jonathan Bardzik, and the talented Sam Chodorow from Midwood Bankery. And we're going to cap it off making cocktails with Carly Steiner. I got to preview some of the kitchens that are prepping for that, and it looks like a lot of fun. We do have an online auction. Check it out if you haven't already. It's going to be open till 9 p.m. You go to shepherdstable.afrogs.org. That's shepherdstable.afrogs.org. I myself have my eyes on a sing-along Zoom with a Broadway star, but also a map of Westeros. So we'll see what I might bid on tonight. Before we get to all the fun, let's also take a look tonight at everything we've accomplished together in the last few months here at Shepherd's Table.
Starting on March 16th, Shepherd's Table began serving meals outdoors in to-go containers. We served brunch and dinner every day and put up tents outside so people had a place to be when it rained or when it was too hot in the summer. We served everyone that came to us with a nutritious and delicious meal. We did so safely with the help of the community's donations and volunteers giving their time to serve. We kept the Resource Center open every day during the week so clients could check their mail, get vouchers for prescription medications, hygiene products, and referrals to other providers in the county. We safely reopened the eye clinic in July. Shepherd's Table's Chef Christina tended to our garden and used herbs and greens and vegetables in the food she prepared. Shepherd's Table ordered over $35,000 worth of food from local restaurants to help keep them open during the crisis. We distributed meals in Aspen Hill and Riverdale and New Carrollton on a delivery basis. We did all this, impacting lives every day, with the support of volunteers and donors just like you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Manny Hidalgo. I'm the Executive Director here at Shepherd's Table. I want to thank all of you for participating and in joining us and gathering around our table this evening. There were a lot of thought that went into how we should do our annual event this year. You know, typically we would have the event over at the Pearl and we'd have a cooking competition. And as much as we wanted to try to do something similar, that just wasn't meant to be in 2020. I think it was a CNN journalist who described 2020 as a hot mess in a dumpster fire in a train wreck. And I look at the video and I look at the pictures and I look at all the times that we've had to overcome the chaos of 2020 and be able to do what we've done and what we continue to do every day. And that's thanks to the generosity of everybody that supports our work. And also this incredible staff. Very, very blessed to have an amazing staff and also an incredible board. Very dedicated people. And would love to be able to thank all the sponsors tonight, but there's about 25 of them, so that would take too long. But I want to thank, again, all the sponsors for being part of this evening and making this evening possible. As you know, the need is great, and it's getting greater. I heard today on NPR there's about a 40% increase in people going to food banks, into soup kitchens for the first time ever in their lives, 40%. So the needs are great, and it's because of the support that we have that we're able to play our small part in addressing those needs. I want to remind you that you can text TABLE, T-A-B-L-E, to 24365 at any moment tonight and be able to give to Shepherd's Table. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Carly Steiner. She is going to be leading our cocktail class this evening. She's a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, and she got her start at Jose Andres' Mini Bar and Barmini. She's a certified sommelier, was co-owner of Himitsu, and is now the sole owner of Secco by Pom Pom. Secco specializes in curated wine packs, cocktail packs, and virtual classes. Thank you, Carly, for teaching us how to make a daiquiri tonight. We're all looking forward to it. Take it away, Carly.
Thank you so much for having me. So I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited. So I have two favorite cocktails. People often ask bartenders what your favorite cocktail is, and normally the answer is like, I couldn't possibly have one. I love every cocktail. But I think that's kind of a lie, especially in my case. I love daiquiris, and it is my favorite citrus cocktail on the planet. It is so simple. Anybody can make it. Unfortunately, I do think that it has a bit of a bad rep because of the whole like frozen daiquiri cocktail scene that kind of took over the early 90s and infiltrated, chain restaurants. And I think that there's a little bit of a misconception about daiquiris because of that. So what we're going to be making today, what I'm going to teach you today, is the classic daiquiri. It is 3 ingredients. If you wanted to make it a frozen variation, you absolutely can. Don't let anybody tell you that's wrong. However, the classic version is not frozen, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It has fresh lime juice. I cannot tell you how important it is to use fresh squeezed juice. Honestly, it's like the #1 difference of a really high quality cocktail for me, and something that just tastes super processed and fake. I'd almost rather not drink them, but yeah, it's probably still drinkable. So fresh lime juice. The closer you can juice the limes or lemons in a different case of cocktail to making the cocktail, the better. If you're, little pro tip, if you are planning on making a ton of cocktails, you're having a party or you have some friends over, that is the one time when I'd be like, go ahead and juice a quart or half, a pint of your juice and just put a lid on it as soon as you can, get it in the fridge, keep it cold. And that's a really good way of just being able to have something delicious and fresh, but not making it to order for however many people are over. The second ingredient is simple syrup. I'm gonna give you a couple notes on that. So simple syrup is by definition simple. It is a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and water. This, in my version, I rarely ever cook my simple syrup. If you look online and you're like, how to make simple syrup, even though it's 2 ingredients, I know people do it all the time, and they look it up and it's like, boil your simple syrup. You can do that if you're planning on keeping it for a couple of months, but it is gonna give you a totally different flavor profile, a very different taste. And it's also just, it changes the balance ever so slightly, but for me, everything's about the importance of a ratio and being exact with cocktails. So when I say 1-to-1, that's 1 like equal parts. And as soon as you hit that boiling point, you're having a little bit of that water evaporate. And normally people let it boil too long anyway, so then it just becomes super thick. The reason that matters is because when I give you a ratio for a cocktail and you're using like twice the amount of thick simple syrup, the cocktail's gonna be twice as sweet. So it makes a huge difference. Lastly, rum. I love a good rum agricole, something like Nissan rum. Anything from Barbados is delicious. Somebody had that. I'm using plantation rum today. I actually have the dark rum as well because I was gonna make 2 cocktails for you. And I know there's some people making cocktails alongside. I guess we're keeping those videos off. I'm not sure, but if you want to pop in and we can see you make it alongside, that's cool. If not, I will obviously be demoing everything for you. So, importance of cocktail making, shaking. So, a couple different things. If you don't have a proper shaking set, a 2-piece like this, or maybe you have the 3-piece at home, which is more common for at-home bartending, you can use a mason jar with a lid. If you don't have a mason jar, you can use a quart container. Not ideal for like proper cocktail making, super ideal when you're in a pinch or when you're at home. Make sure we're gonna measure everything using whatever measuring utensil you can use. Remember, this is more important to get the ratio correct, not the exact recipe that I give you. So if you want to double something or 1.5 something to make it easier for whatever tool you have at home, go for it. So let's make this cocktail. We're going to start with that fresh lime juice, 1 full ounce. Daiquiris are part of what's called a high acid sour, which just means it's a sour, but it's higher acid than most sours. Most sours are going to have the ratio of 0.75 ounces of syrup, 0.75 ounces of lemon or lime, and 2 ounces of booze. In this cocktail, we're actually, as you saw in the first thing that we put in here, we're upping the acid, the lime, to 1 ounce, and that's the only difference. So 1 ounce of lime juice, 0.75 ounces of simple syrup, I can hear something happening in there, and 2 full ounces of spirit. A lot of cocktail ratios or recipes that you're going to see online, they have 1.5 ounces of spirit, and I think that's super okay for like Collins or you know, spirit and soda drinks. When it comes to like classic cocktails, typically they're made in the with 2 ounces of booze. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice glass. I like that glass. It's really tough.
I don't have a shaker, I have a stirrer. I hope that works.
Okay. So you're gonna want to be able to agitate it at least a little bit. So stirrers are great. They're called, you actually have a really beautiful Yari, Y-A-R-I. I don't know if that's really what it's meant for, but it's gorgeous. And it also looks huge, like you could make 4 cocktails.
Yeah, it's like that much.
No, it's so pretty. So typically, that's actually a really good thing to bring up, and I think it's a great learning thing for everybody. So what you have is for stirred cocktails. So old fashions, Manhattans, martinis, Negronis, and what you would make in that are all cocktails that are booze only. As soon as you incorporate citrus, and as soon as you incorporate things like, you know, cream or milk or an egg white or anything of that, you want to shake it, you want to agitate it. The whole point of like stirred cocktails is to not bruise them and to keep that like texture really full and thick. The whole point of shaken cocktails is to bruise the heck out of them and to make them almost like thin in your mouth. Think of like skim milk versus whole milk. You want your stirred cocktails to be whole milk, and you want your shaken cocktails to be skim milk. So if you have anything that you can like even put maybe like some sort of plasticky lid on top just to get a little agitation. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to really go at it with the spoon really as hard as you can.
I'll do that.
So we have everything in the small shaking set, or if you have your 3-piece shaker, you'd have it all in the whole piece itself. We're gonna add ice. And then when we shake, if you do have a shaker, if you have anything with a lid, what we're gonna do is it's really important that that ice travels as fast and hard as possible from one end to the other. So it's really about, a lot of people I see try to kind of stay close in, and they're like shaking up and down. And not only is that terrible for your back in the long run, that's not important for home bartending, but it also just isn't gonna give you the best cocktail. So you really wanna extend out and back and always make sure that you're to the side of your face. Can't tell you how many times I've hit myself in the nose when I was first starting bartending years ago. Another really big question that I get, if you're stirring, you keep stirring while I talk. Seriously, trust me, you want to keep stirring. You really, you want to agitate it as much as you can. And since you're not shaking, I would just even dilute it a little bit more than I did. So I just want you to enjoy what you're going to be drinking over there. Okay, so what we're going to do is strain this into the coupe glass or whatever glass you're using. How do you know it's done? That's a really big question that I get. People are just starting cocktail making and they're like, how do I know when it's done? And when your hands feel so cold that they're gonna fall off, shake like 3, 4, 5 more times, and then the cocktail's pretty much ready. We're gonna strain out all of our amazing juice and rum into our glass. Make sure you get every drop. Nothing should be ever wasted. Seriously, just like, I'm just really letting this one go. That's it. And we have a daiquiri. I'm gonna make one more quickly for you now in faster, non-slow motion. But if you're making cocktails alongside, go ahead and take a sip. You know that you made your cocktail right when it tastes good. It should be, again, thinner in your mouth. It should be really cold, really cold. It should have way more acid than sugar in the mouth. And you should taste rum, but you should taste the dilution of rum. The dilution of spirit is why we make cocktails. Like if we just wanted to taste alcohol, we wouldn't dilute them and chill them, right? We do these things to temper something and to bring it to a point where it's incredibly palatable and it brings out those new aromatics in the spirit itself. So cheers.
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 Oh, it's so good. I love this cocktail.
Yes.
Oh,
Cheers. I forgot to bring my ingredients.
I haven't had a daiquiri since the last cocktail class I did like a week ago. I know that's only a week, but
Carly, watching you and Tori shake those cocktails brought me back to old Havana. There's a restaurant called La Floridita, and that's apparently where Hemingway used to have his daiquiris. Yeah. He would say, my daiquiris, La Floridita, my mojitos at Bodeguita del Medio. And seeing those guys shake that thing, it was just like, you could just stand there and watch it for hours. It was so entertaining.
That's a good workout.
That's a heck of a workout. And thank you, Debbie. That was great. Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. And next, wanted to say something about our clients, our meal guests, as we call them. And sometimes we affectionately refer to them as our knuckleheads. We have an incredible array of folks that come here and receive meals and services from Shepherd's Table, including from our resource center. And really, they are some of the most amazing, resilient, incredible people you'll ever meet. And I think that's why so many people volunteer at Shepherd's Table. We have upwards of about 3,000 volunteers that come here. And I think a lot of that is because they're able to really engage and get to know the folks that rely on Shepherd's Table to quite literally stay alive, to receive their meals and to receive the sustenance they need to live another day. So I want you to meet a couple of our clients right now and hear their story. Let's hear from Walter and Chuck.
For a lot of people in this community, Shepherd's Table is a lifeline. It is a place that they come to not just for sustenance, but also for camaraderie, for support. It is a very important place for a lot of people, perhaps now more so than ever.
Loss of job, and after that we lost our apartment.
I've been living in Maryland for a long time. I lived in Virginia for a short time also. I worked with the Justice Department for about 15 to 20 years as a paralegal, mostly contract work, and I wasn't able to get another contract. place is really good. I tell you, it's, you know, the camaraderie with people. I like that and everything. And I appreciate the shelter and the food too. I mean, it's great. You know.
Got my job at Costco from an employee here. Sitting at the table one day and he's asked me, do I want to work? I said yes. Ever since then, it's been ongoing. Things are looking up.
I think it plays an important role in the community, both with the people that are clients in here and also the people around in the neighborhood. This is a needed facility, and if you didn't have it, you know, you wouldn't like what's going on out there. Before the Conant, you all were serving masses of people, and not only people that stay here, but other people, you know, that live on the street and the surrounding area. You know, I've seen families come up and eat here. So you know, and you know, I mean, it's a good job, it really is.
Shepherd's Table is a big help, you know. A lot of people don't understand that. They take things for granted. So I would advise them to take this serious. Down the road, you're not going to have nothing. So it's best for you to take this seriously and move on. Use the services, so that's what they're for. And as time goes on, you will realize that this will help you. So that's my opinion.
People, you know, some of them even if you took it away, okay, and they wouldn't have anything. They wouldn't have a shelter. They wouldn't have food. They wouldn't have medical care or anything like that, you know. And I hope the people that are understand that this is a place that needs to be here, and that it's a worthwhile cause, okay. And I'm grateful, and there's other people out there. They're grateful too, okay. Believe me. This is a needed thing.
Thank you for the staff at Shepherd's Table. You're the greatest. And I will always keep y'all in my heart.
Okay. I guess I'm on. I'm going to introduce my next song. My name's Elliot Levine. Good evening. I'm honored to be part of this Shepherd's Table function. And a little background, I've toured with Heatwave. And in March, when all the clubs were closed, basically I decided to keep playing music by playing in my backyard and continue to have fun in that process. Every Sunday at 4:30, I do like a benefit for Shepherd's Table, and $2,000 has been raised. The song I'm going to play, You Can Count on Me, was co-written by someone in Iceland named Sigga, who was also in quarantine, who writes lyrics. So this is called You Can Count on Me.
You can count on me in the storms of love. You can count on me. I want you to know. You can count on me in the heavens fall. You can count on me to be there through it all. You can count on me. I will be around. You can count
Thank you very much. I have to introduce that they're going to be choosing a song for later on, and I will play 2 requests. So you have a thing to pick from in front of you.
Okay. Thanks, Elliot. That was a great music. We appreciate it. Hi, everybody. I am Haile, Director of Operations at Shepherd's Stable. One of our talented chefs is up next. Christina has been with Shepherd's Stable for 5 years and formerly trained at Le Cordon Bleu in New England. She has worked in the restaurant industry, served our country abroad, and came to Shepherd's Table out of a deep yearning to do something more important for the world. Christina will make a recipe from our casserole collection, as well as a recipe from our cooking book. Thank you.
I'm Christina, one of the chefs here at Shepherd's Table, and today we are going to show you how to make a couple of recipes from our new cookbook. First, we're going to start with zippy beef casserole. This is one of the casseroles that we use for our donation program, but it's also really delicious just for a family meal if you want to make it at home. For this recipe, you will need 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of cooked elbow macaroni, 1.5 cans of cream of mushroom soup, 1.5 cups of milk, a 1/2 cup of minced onion, 3/4 cups of ketchup, 1.5 cup shredded cheddar or jack cheese, and a 1/2 cup of green pepper, and salt and pepper, of course. So we're gonna start with the ground beef. I'm just gonna bring it over here to the stove and just brown it. You want to break it up really well so that it mixes nicely into the casserole. While that's happening, I'm going to come over here and dice up our green pepper. So you're just going to cut it in half lengthwise. Pop out the seeds and this little white membrane inside. So we're just going to dice this up pretty small. Dice this onion as well. Now this is a pretty small onion, so I'm just going to use the whole thing. Okay, so you should have about a 1/2 cup of each. Come back and stir this beef. Over here and into our cooked pasta. You want to break up the onions. There. Your green peppers. We're going to go ahead and put all of the ingredients except for the cheese into the pasta. I'm going to put a little salt in there. About 1.5 teaspoons. 3/4 cup of ketchup. and 1.5 cups of milk. This beef should be just about done. All right, that looks good. So I'm using a very lean beef, but if you're not, just drain off the fat at this point, and then it's just gonna go right into the pasta. And then mix everything up. All right, so it should look about like that when we're finished. And all of this is gonna go right into our aluminum casserole pan. All right. You wanna smooth it down so it's nice and flat, nice and even. Then we're gonna take our cheese. So I'm using a cheddar jack blend. You could use cheddar or Monterey Jack, pepper jack, anything along those lines, or a blend of all of those would be wonderful. And we want about 1.5 cups of cheese sprinkled right down over the top. So if you're planning on donating this recipe, at this point, this is where you would stop and just take a piece of foil. I like to spray the foil with a little bit of pan spray just so we don't lose any of that delicious cheese. We're gonna wrap it up like this. And if it's a donation, then you wrap it up nicely and freeze it until you're ready to bring it. Otherwise, if you're feeding your family, it's gonna pop right in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. Our 40 minutes is up, so we're gonna check the casserole. All right, let's bring it over here. That beautiful, beautiful melty cheese. And that is what it will look like. Look at that, cheesy, beefy, delicious. All right, and there you have it. All right, next up, we are going to make a recipe that was submitted by one of our volunteers, Steve Parker. It's called Easy Peasy Stuffed Mushrooms, and it is exactly that. So what you will need is some baby Bella mushrooms, some Boursin cheese, got in a bowl here. You can use any flavor will do. All right, so you're just gonna remove the stems from the mushrooms. I like to use a towel just damp with just plain water, kind of brush it off. Get any little dirt particles that might be on there. You don't want to rinse it under running water because then they'll get waterlogged, and nobody wants a waterlogged mushroom. You're just going to spray both sides of the mushroom with a little bit of olive oil cooking spray. I like to sprinkle mine with just a little bit of salt and pepper. Salt and pepper goes on everything, in my opinion. All right, and we're just gonna pop these in the oven for about 10 minutes at 350, just until we see some liquid inside the caps. All right, so we have these mushrooms that just came out of the oven. As you can see, they're nice and golden brown, delicious. The cheese has started to get nice and melty. All right, now let's try one. These are delicious and easy peasy. Steve Parker, thank you for the recipe. I know I will be making these again at home, and I hope you all will try them too.
It's very, very important for us to be continue to serve meals every day. We served all kind of clientele. Some of them, they have means of getting their own meal, but right now the people we are serving really need our help.
It's been very important for Shepherd's Table Resource Center to be open because the services what we provide at the Resource Center is very critical items and needs for the client. While the county was closed, we were still open and we still given information and provided information where the clients can go and get other services. And
we have the eye clinic. We open every Tuesday. We opened last year for glaucoma and cataract services with the eye clinic. Our doctor refers or identifies the clients who are having those issues to a specialist.
Being born and raised in Africa, I really know what hardship is. For the very first time, it's for somebody to be out there, difficult for them to have their 3 meals a day. So it was very, very much important, really, for this place to remain open at this COVID time. Because it's not only people who are homeless that we are serving, based on my understanding. You know, we have people who are out of job, they could not provide food for themselves. Like one day, I saw a family that came here. They were standing far away. You know, I noticed that they were here for a reason. But so I walked to them. I said, "How can I help you?" Said, "Yeah, we are here. You know, we lost our job. We could not get food, and we heard of this place. So we're here to know how we can get the food." I said, "Do we have anything to provide?" I said, "No, sir. We just provide meal. The only thing we expect from you is to behave yourself, stand in line. You know, maintain the 6 feet distance."
Even pre-COVID. But during the COVID, our meal guests, they are really appreciative. They come and, of course, we cannot get close. There is no high fives or no hugs. It's just the elbow. But you just can see how genuine they are just to say thank you. And had a contact with one of the meal guests, and pretty much he said, "Without you guys, I don't know where I would be now." So it's really, to do that during the COVID, it's just fulfilling, and that's what motivates us to come here day in and day out.
When the clients get the voucher from housing, you know, it's a big emotion when the client been sleeping outside for a long time. So we prepare and different kind of items that we have, blankets and a nice and warm and comforter. Prepare a basket with a big can of shampoo, conditioner, big bar soaps and toothpaste and shower gel, and all those items. Prepare a basket, and for me it's very emotional when I handle the basket to the client and they smile. Say like, "Wow, I never expect like I'm gonna have a ceiling under my head, sleeping in a very warm blanket, and also a nice comforter." And it's something that always touched me, because you can see the eyes, you can see it's the beginning of in the middle of nothing, when they've been sleeping at the street, and now they're gonna sleep in a very warm and nice place. It's something that always touched me.
Since Shepherd's Table started, we always been supported, but especially during the pandemic, we saw a lot of support from the community. It is just overwhelming. Donations in kind, And the volunteers, of course, they are my motivation. They come in and they do what they need to do to brighten the meal guests' day, and those are the heroes, and really without them we cannot do.
I started volunteering, it's been about 4 years ago now, when Shepherd's Table expanded their service from just serving dinner to doing 3 meals a day. So I had been coming pretty regularly Thursday mornings for the breakfast shift. And then when the COVID pandemic hit, I started to try to fill in a lot of the slots where they needed volunteers to do the modified service of serving things to people outside. I'm very pleased that Shepherd's Table was able to adapt to the restrictions and still fill the need that people have because they're hungry and they need to be fed. There are a lot of very dedicated volunteers who make it work, and especially I think the staff, they don't get recognized enough. This is a place where you can go and do something very worthwhile and feel like you've filled a need that people have, and look at that at the end of the day and say, well, I can't do a lot about COVID or the world in general, but I can help individual people and make their lives better, and that's important, I think.
All right, so to all of those in the community, all of our volunteers, all of those who gave time or just came in and gave a few hours, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you for your support of Shepherd's Table. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Geico is very proud to be a sponsor of Shepherd's Table and the Gather Around the Table event. We have a long productive history together and really value the relationship. The good work of Shepherd's Table and its incredibly dedicated staff continue to impress and motivate us. We have dozens of volunteers who regularly support Shepherd's Table, and we get back much more than we invest.
Thank you, Shepherd's Table, for what you have done, what you continue to do, and what you will do beyond the coronavirus.
It's a great pleasure and opportunity to be able to volunteer at Shepherd's Table. You meet great people. Thank you.
There's always room for you at the table. I remember hearing way back Jackie Coyle say this and knowing it meant not only the guests who come through the door to enjoy fresh, healthy meals and the incredible wraparound services, but knowing it also meant our community and those who wanted to step up in whatever way was possible. It also meant new ideas were welcome and encouraged. And it meant being an organization that says yes. And every time I've reached out with a crazy idea like Casseroles for a Cause or our Neighborhood Ambassador program, the answer at Shepherd's Table has always been yes. And as a result, together we've built an incredible community of passionate helpers eager to move forward and help each other in simple yet meaningful ways.
Remember at the start of COVID-19 when we all felt kind of helpless and we felt like we couldn't do much, but we all wanted to do something? That's how we started the Neighborhood Ambassadors program out of Silver Spring Cares. So what started as a couple of neighborhoods quickly grew to 15 neighborhoods who are now meeting the needs of Shepherd's Table and the community they serve every single day of every week. With over 15 neighborhoods participating, there's a carload or two going over every day, bringing over bags and boxes of salty snacks, of sandwiches, of lentils, of pasta sauce, and even some freshly grown vegetables.
Thank you to all the volunteers for all the donations, the sandwiches, coming in when they do it, for stepping up and helping us out. We truly could not do this without everybody participating and helping us at Shepherd's Table. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, Chef Gary, thank you so much and continue to give. Shepherd's Table, thank you.
I just want to do a special shout out to Shepherd's Table for all of your work with us during the pandemic this summer. It's been absolutely amazing to work with your team, the energy you brought to our community, and most importantly, the hope you brought in the form of meals. Over 600 meals and sandwiches were distributed at 3 different sites across Riverdale and New Carrollton and Prince George's County. The food needs here have just grown so astronomical, and it's been so amazing to have you all as part of the solution and to help us out in meeting the demand that keeps on growing here in Prince George's County.
You know, I've been proud to partner with all of you over the last number of months, especially to help the Beyond the Table program, where we worked together and identified a community here in Montgomery County, the Aspen Hill community, where you served 3 hot, healthy meals a week for 3 weeks, serving nearly 1,000 meals to residents in need. It has been a beautiful partnership, and I'm already working with you all to identify other sites in the county that can use your services.
Hi, this is Brian Chin with Negrill. I just want to say thank you so much to Shepherd's Table and their contribution to it. Really does help a lot. You know, the one thing that I'm proud about during this whole pandemic and just the crazy turmoil that's going on is, you know, we didn't have to let anyone go. When you have Shepherd's Table and other, you know, people in the community that helped by purchasing gift cards and, you know, helping us out, it makes the world of a difference. Yeah, you know, can't stress it enough. And you guys helped be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Shepherd's Table.
Cheers.
Thank you for your support, and please text TABLE, T-A-B-L-E, to 24365 to support our mission. Thank you.
So as many of you know, we've been engaged in a strategic planning effort for the past 2 years. We started in September of 2018 when Jackie Coyle was still here, and we just completed that process. It was a 2-year process, so you can imagine it was very extensive. We interviewed all kinds of people throughout the community, people in Montgomery County government, people, different nonprofits that support our work. We interviewed meal guests and clients, of course, staff and board. And a lot of effort and energy went into coming up with what I'm going to share with you tonight. Starting with, first of all, our newly formulated mission, vision, and values statements. So we'll start with the mission statement. So essentially, our mission statement is now to improve the quality of life, create a pathway towards self-sufficiency, and inspire hope for the most vulnerable experiencing food insecurity, homelessness, and poverty. We welcome all to our community table for meals and access to social services provided with compassion and respect. Our vision is a community where lives are transformed with nourishment, empowerment, and care. Our value statements: community. We strive to strengthen our community's sense of safety and solidarity. Our impact and success relies upon our ability to be inclusive, harnessing the unique, it's a little bit cut off, perspectives of all clients, volunteers, staff, and supporters. Acceptance, we welcome everybody to the table and believe that each person should be treated with dignity and kindness. Reliability, we're a constant and trusted resource for people in need. We are committed to providing healthy meals and social services for our clients every day. Teamwork, we value the ongoing collaboration, partnership, and support needed to fulfill our mission. Together, we'll design and implement innovative solutions to meet our community's needs. The other thing that we did, in addition to coming up with our mission, vision, and value statements, and I have to thank Rachel Schaefer, who used to be on the board and played an integral part in leading the committee work, and of course, Jilna Kathari, who is our Director of Development Communications. Together, they co-chaired that team that came up with the mission, vision, and value statements. And like I said, that involved a lot of conversations with board, staff, meal guest clients, you name it, the community. And so we're really excited to be able to articulate all three of those, our mission, vision, and values. So moving on to program updates. So in addition to this work, we also, as a board and staff, took this opportunity to decide what to do with our strategic reserves. So we've been able to put some money aside over the years to do some program expansion. And we've come up with basically 4 programs that we're going to be launching and we're going to be funding and carrying out for the next 4 years. So essentially starting with Beyond the Table, you saw some of that in the video. Beyond the Table is our mobile meals program. So that's building off of a successful pilot effort that we did this summer. In a conversation with the executive committee, we sort of came up with an idea, and it just grew into this wonderful pilot, and we had such a successful experience implementing the pilot that this is now going to be a permanent program. And the goal and the hope is to be able to do this, provide meals to go out of a van that the county is buying for us. And essentially we're going to be able to provide meals both in Montgomery and Prince George's County. And basically we're looking at about 5 days a week, distributing about 1,000 meals between locations, like I said, in Montgomery and Prince George's. So really excited about Beyond the Table. Also our urban garden, our food garden, we basically are planning to significantly expand the small on-site food garden that we created in recent years. And we're going to be able to provide a more substantial source of healthy food for our operations, as well as provide a way for staff, volunteers, clients, and other community members to build relationships and learn food growing skills. We're going to engage in advocacy. Informally, we've done that over the years, but to actually put some resources towards planning to gradually expand our capacity to add our voice to policy discussions, like the Maryland Poor People's Campaign, and basically be part of these policy discussions at all levels to support policies that will benefit our clients and advance our mission. And lastly, the weekend program. So once it's feasible for us to do so, in other words, when we can congregate more people in the dining room, we are going to create dynamic programs within our dining facility on weekends in order to provide a safe, attractive, healthy location for clients to congregate and learn. So all these programs are going to be launched in the coming years, starting with Beyond the Table and Urban Garden right away, and then we'll be adding advocacy in the weekend program. And we're going to be evaluating these programs for the next 4 years. And of course, coming up with a development plan to be able to sustain these in the long run. But these are being launched thanks to years of putting away some money here and there and being able to spend some time strategically planning to introduce these new programs to the community. So we're really looking forward to it. And so now we're going to move on. And again, I just want to remind you one more time, if you can, please text TABLE to 24365, 24365. Text TABLE if you can, and consider making a donation online. Next, I'm going to introduce to you somebody I'm really excited for you to meet, Jonathan Bardzik. He's going to show us how to make a delicious pumpkin pizza. Jonathan is a well-known cook, storyteller, and author. He started with his first book, his first live cooking demonstration at Eastern Market in 2011. And he's written 3 books, presented at TEDx, and it's a frequent guest on local morning news programs. He also has a TV series called Jonathan's Kitchen, which is coming up on Amazon Prime this year. And right after Jonathan, you're going to meet our very own Sam Chodorow. Sam is the son of one of our board members, Helene, wonderful, talented college student. He launched a bakery during the quarantine to share his skills and treats with his neighbors. And he's donated a portion of his proceeds to Shepherd's Table. He'll be making his famous chocolate chip cake for us. So without further ado, let's meet Jonathan and Sam.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jonathan Bardzik, and I am excited to gather around the table with all of you. I'm also honored to join Christina and Carly from the kitchen to support the great work of Shepherd's Table. This has been an exceptional year, a tough year for everyone. And in the midst of dealing with the very real and ongoing challenges presented by a global pandemic, no one should wonder where their next meal is coming from. As they have for more than 35 years, Shepherd's Table is facing food insecurity in our community head on and dealing with the constantly evolving challenges of food service in this environment. Now, while we have some fun in the kitchen and celebrate the farm fresh produce arriving at the many farm markets that donate to Shepherd's Table each week, take a minute, if you haven't already, and make your own donation to Shepherd's Table. Text TABLE, that's T-A-B-L-E, to 24365. Now, how about some pizza? And I don't just mean any pizza, this is pumpkin pizza. Yeah! No, actually, this recipe started out as a total mistake. See, what I thought was the last container of tomato sauce in the freezer turned out to be pumpkin puree, and I had spread it all over the crust before I realized my mistake. Fortunately, topped with merguez, that's a spicy lamb sausage, slivered onions, feta cheese, toasted pumpkin seeds, it turned out to be delicious. My friend Amy Riolo and I made this recipe filming an episode of my TV show last fall. She had just returned from a trip to Italy and while over there had seen a pizza di zucca, a pumpkin pizza on a menu. So I guess I'm not so weird after all. I made a yeasted dough for this pizza, so I'm going to shape some into a ball and you can watch my decidedly unprofessional effort at shaping it into a round. I'll move the pizza crust to a peel sprinkled with a bit of cornmeal to keep it from sticking. And now I top it. First, the pumpkin. Then slivered onion. Slices of merguez sausage. And crumbled feta. I'm also going to toast a few pepitas. These are hull-less pumpkin seeds. They'll add a rich, nutty crunch. Top your pizza sparingly. If you overload it, it'll get stuck to the peel when you try to slide it into the oven. Now to bake it. We're not going to hit the 900 degrees of a Neapolitan wood-fired oven, but our own ovens with a good pizza stone set at 500 to 550 degrees Fahrenheit will get the job done deliciously. To get it good and hot, remember to preheat your oven an hour before you want to start baking your pizza. Now, while that bakes in the oven for the next 8 minutes or so, about 100 years ago, pumpkins were an important food crop in the US. They fell out of fashion, but around the same time, a significant number of Irish immigrants came to this country, bringing with them a holiday that they celebrated at the end of October. You may be familiar with it. Well, back in Ireland, they would carve lanterns out of large turnips. We didn't have a whole bunch of large turnips, but we did have all of these extra pumpkins. Now, as often happens in the US, the holiday spread outside of the Irish community, and pumpkins began being bred to make great jack-o'-lanterns with thin shells and smooth round shapes. You know what that did not include? Flavor. So, this fall, leave the decorative pumpkins out on the front porch and pick up some of those heirlooms from the farm market that were bred to be delicious. I think the pizza's ready. The easiest way to slice a pizza is with a pizza cutter. And the best way to enjoy it is to share it with friends and family, gathered around a table or on a video chat. The thing I love most about food is that it brings all of us together. And tonight, sharing food generously has brought us together to support Shepherd's Table. For this and more farm fresh seasonal recipes, check out my blog and website at jonathanbardzik.com. And to see what I'm cooking right now, follow me on social media. Thank you for sharing this time with me and for everything that you do to support Shepherd's Table. I'm Jonathan Bardzik, and this is my kitchen.
Morning, my name is Sam Chodorow, the owner and baker at Midwood Bakery, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a chocolate chip cake. First, we're going to start off with most of the dry ingredients. We're going to start by adding our brown sugar and our granulated sugar into a large bowl. Just for reference, I'm doing three worths of the recipe, so please be careful when adding in your ingredients to make sure that you have the right amount. Alright, then after your brown sugar, we're going to put in our regular white sugar. And you're going to do 1 1/4 cups of that. Alright, after all the sugar's in, you're going to put in your oil, and you are going to be putting 1 cup of vegetable oil. Canola oil will work too, but don't put olive oil. Alright, and then after your oil, you're going to put in 2 eggs. As you're putting your eggs in, make sure to check that there's no shell in the bowl that you put them into. Alright. After you finish putting your oil in, you're going to put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now that all of those ingredients are in, we are going to take our mixer and we're going to beat it at medium speed for about a minute or until it appears thick and uniform. In the end, you should be coming out with a caramel-colored sludge, combination of the eggs, the oil, the vanilla, and the sugar. Make sure that you mix in all of your oil first, though. We don't want to have any oil remaining at the top. And in the end, this is what you should have. It's a caramel-colored mixture, and it should be thick. All right. Now, in a second bowl, we're going to take 3/4 cup of cocoa. I'm making more than 1 of this recipe, but with your recipe, you're going to be wanting to put in 3/4 cup of cocoa. All right, after your cocoa, you're going to be putting in your baking powder. Your baking powder is going to be 2 teaspoons. On top of that, you're also going to be putting in 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. After putting in your cocoa, your baking powder, your baking soda, your salt, you're going to put in your flour. Now, the recipe calls for 2 cups of flour. So we're going to get that into here. Now, you want to use all-purpose flour. Don't use bread flour. Don't use whole wheat flour. Choose regular flour. Almond flour can also be used to replace this if needed. So we're going to put that flour in there. And you're going to get that mixed up. Next, you're going to want to take instant coffee, and you're going to want to make 2 cups of lightly warm quick brew coffee. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your bowl with your sugar, oil, vanilla extract, and you're going to alternate and put some of the coffee in, put some of the flour cocoa mixture in, and you're going to alternate. And in the end, you should be coming out with a dark brown batter that is decently thick. So we'll start off, we'll put some of these in here. We'll put some of the coffee in. And we'll put some of the flour in. And then you're going to take your mixer and you're going to start blending everything together. And you're going to keep doing this until the mixture is a dark brown and is very thick. Now, before you put your batter into your pan, you're going to want to add some chocolate chips into the batter and on top of the cake right before it goes into the oven. So we're going to put in some chocolate here. And you're going to want to be sure to take your spatula and you're going to want to mix those chocolate chips in so that every cake that you make gets at least some amount of chocolate chips in the batter, as well as on top. All right. Now, always remember to grease your pan before you put it into the oven. Otherwise, your cake will get stuck to the sides and you won't be able to get it out. Now, ideally, you want to fill up the pan that you're going to be using to bake the cake about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way. Otherwise, it won't rise above the top and have that nice curved look that we want. We're also going to add some extra chocolate chips on the top. You don't want to add too many though, because the more chocolate you add, the harder time it has cooking. All right, so now that we have our cake ready to be put in the oven, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If you have the option of convection bake, use convection bake. And you're going to want to put it on for an hour to 72 minutes. Preferably give it 72 minutes just so it has a little bit of extra time for the batter to cook and harden. In the event that it doesn't harden, you keep it in for longer.
So I mentioned that Sam donated some of the proceeds of the Summer Midwood Bakery that he ran with his neighbors. This will give you an indication of his neighbors. This is the check they gave us. Is that not the cutest thing in the world? So most of these neighbors were under 10 years old, probably under 9 years old. They were the sweetest little kids, and they were all part of Sam's crew that ran this initiative this summer, and it was quite amazing. So I'm hoping Midwood will be back when he's back from college, because I actually had that chocolate bread, and it was the most incredible chocolate bread I think I've ever had. So I hope you enjoy gathering around our virtual table with us tonight. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Tonight simply would not have been possible without Jilna and her amazing development team, Sharon, Sybil, and T. So I just want to thank the development team for all their hard work in putting this together. I also want to thank, again, the board, the staff, all our sponsors, and in particular those who presented this evening, Carly, Jonathan, Christina, Sam, and everyone else who were part of making tonight a successful event. I've just been informed that we've already raised $115,000, so that's quite incredible. We're very excited about it, Elliot. And but we're not done raising money, because the online auction is going to remain open until 9 p.m. So you can still get on there and find some really cool things. We've got some great memorabilia, some trips, other items you can bid on. And also you can still text TABLE, T-A-B-L-E, to 24365. And that'll give you a link to make a donation to Shepherd's Table. And so before I kick it over to Elliot, once again, thanks everybody. Thank you so much. We look forward to keeping in touch. And also just want to let you know, this is coming out on Monday. So please pay attention to our website and to our emails. You'll have an opportunity to order one of these wonderful cookbooks and perhaps have it as a stocking stuffer or a holiday gift. But again, be on the lookout for this wonderful cookbook. And thanks again. Elliot, take it away.
All right. I'm ready to jam. These are the tunes you picked. The first one is September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Here we go. Let me hit play. All right. And the next tune you picked is an Alicia Keys tune here. If I Ain't Got You. Yeah. And the third tune you chose was this one, Some Temptations. Just my imagination. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I guess I might have time for something else. If I can find it. Let's see. How about this one? Some extra. Some 80s music. Actually, early 90s. TLC, Creed. Zoe Levine, and I appreciate you having me be a part of Shepherd's Table. Thank you all very much. I guess I could keep playing because this is coming up. Zoe's turning me off, I guess. Why not? This is next anyway. Ohio Players. Say what?